Ladies and gentlemen, we are absolutely surrounded by greatness here. Not just the thousands of service members who have paid the ultimate, but also gentlemen like Izzy there, our distinguished guest of honor, who I'm about to introduce. But prior to that, I want to mention one other person who's back there. Denny Weisgerber. Sir, could you stand? Denny distinguished himself in civilian life, achieving, positions such as mayor of Milpitas. But prior to that, when he served in the United States Marine Corps, he was in Korea where he was awarded the Navy Cross. And he barely survived that. I know he lost a leg, lost a lot of friends, fought very hard. And I just wanted to say, Denny, thank you for your service, sir. And with that, we're gonna move forward. We have perhaps one of the most iconic Marines of our time here with us today. Major General Livingston traveled all the way from the East Coast to be with us. When he learned of San Jose's long-standing tradition of honoring our fallen on this day, he without hesitation agreed to serve as our keynote speaker. You have his bio in your programs. He's asked me not to read it because you already have it. But I will simply say this. He is a Marine's Marine. He's been awarded 3 Purple Hearts, a Bronze Star, a Silver Star, and the Congressional Medal of Honor, as well as other awards. I'm not going to read his bio, as I said, but I will read his Medal of Honor citation to you. For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, while serving as the commanding officer, Company E, in action against enemy forces. Company E launched a determined assault on a heavily fortified village of Daido, which had been seized by the enemy on the preceding evening, isolating the Marine Company from the remainder of the battalion. Skillfully employing screening agents, Captain Livingston maneuvered his men to assault positions across 500 meters of dangerous open rice paddy while under intense enemy fire. Ignoring hostile rounds impacting near him, he fearlessly led his men in an assault against enemy emplacements within the village. While adjusting supporting arms fire, Captain Livingston moved to the points of heaviest resistance, shouting words of encouragement to his Marines and directing their fire and spurring the dwindling momentum of the attack on repeated occasions. Although twice painfully wounded by grenade fragments, he refused medical treatment and courageously led his men into destruction of over 100 mutually supporting bunkers, driving the remaining enemy from their positions and relieving the pressure on the stranded Marine Company. As the 2 companies consolidated their positions and evacuated casualties, a 3rd company passed through the friendly lines, launching an assault on the adjacent village of Dento, only to be halted by a furious counterattack by an enemy battalion. Swiftly assessing the situation and disregarding the heavy volume of enemy fire, Captain Livingston boldly maneuvered the remaining effective men of his company forward and joined forces with the heavily engaged Marines and halted the enemy's counterattack. Wounded for a 3rd time and unable to walk, he steadfastly remained in a dangerously exposed area, deploying his men to a more tenable position, supervising the evacuation of casualties. And only when he was assured of the safety of all of his men did he allow himself to be evacuated. Captain Livingston's gallant actions uphold the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. General, sir, thank you.
Thank you, and take your seats. It's almost ironic that we start the speech and the sun comes out. I think someone in heaven is looking over us today. And that someone is joined by a lot of Americans who served and sacrificed and worn the cloth of this nation. My wife, Sarah, let me introduce her. We are just pleased to be back in California. What a wonderful state, and what a wonderful people. And I just think of all the veterans from California. Let me first of all acknowledge the families of the fallen. If you don't mind, just simply raise your hand where I can see you and make eye contact with you. I'm reminded of those families and their loved ones didn't have a chance to be fathers and grandfathers, to be mothers and grandmothers, and what they sacrificed. And this country is indebted to all of you. God bless you. I would like to thank the staff and all the veterans groups associated with this event today. And there could be no more beautiful area for this ceremony to take place. I go to 1 or 2 a year of these events. And this is probably the most beautiful location I've ever been at to remember those who have served and sacrificed. Let me acknowledge all the vets also, and let me ask you to raise your hand. I want to know who you are and say thanks to you. This country is possible. This country is possible. And freedom is possible because of you. You make it happen. And thank you for wearing the cloth of the nation. For the vets' families, and let me see who you are also. All the veterans' families. Thank you very much. Without you and your support for that veteran, it would not have been possible for him to serve this great nation. And you are absolutely a very important part of this team. For all the first responders in your family, I want to thank you. You may not have been in harm's way over there, but you're in harm's way in helping us here in so many occasions for what you do. And I thank you for your service and sacrifice. To our political leadership, thank you for being here today. And thank you for your support of those who go in harm's way. We need your support. We need to make sure that we got the capability to make sure that our people, when they send them over there, they can perform what we've sent them over there today and have the capabilities to do that. For the active duty military, those currently wearing the cloth of the nation, I'm reminded, of this legacy, and the legacy continues. And the greatness of the legacy with those on active duty today. We could not ask for better armed forces. We could not ask for better people to serve. And that's the blessing of America. Those who are willing to step up and say, I do. I'm willing to put my life on the line. I want to continue the service of this great country. As Reagan said, we're only one generation away from losing democracy. And I look at those serving today, and I know we will be preserved as a democracy. So thank you so very much. And to all the guests, thank you for coming today. As I look out and look at this location, and the reason I think it's one of the best locations I've ever been to for this kind of event. The thing, if you look down and look at those gravestones, I feel reconnected with those who have served and sacrificed and passed on. Whether they were killed in action or they just passed away, we're reconnected with them today. So read those gravestones and just feel that energy that you have in with them and who they are and what did each one of those gravestones represent as a person, as an American. That's what we're thinking about today. So today, as we honor this Memorial Day, and specifically those who have given their lives to the nation, let's reevaluate who we are. Let's recommit to who we are. Let's think about who we are. Let's think about who we are as a nation. And a lot of people have talked about thus far about having a happy Memorial Day. I want you to have a happy Memorial Day, but every day in America is a happy day. Every day I live as a citizen in this great country, it is a happy day. And it can only be happy if we are free people. And we can only be free people if we are willing to protect our freedom. That's the memory of the day. I'm reminded of California's commitment to freedom of this country. California has paid an ultimate price for our freedom. The state of California lost 882 young men in World War I, 17,022 in World War II, 2,493 during the Korean War, 5,569 in Vietnam, 27 during Desert Storm, 479 during Operation Iraqi Freedom, and 271 today during Afghanistan. California understands what sacrifice is all about. You know, Memorial Day is looked at as probably one of the most solemn days on our calendar. We think of those who have fallen on the field of battle. We think of those most in every case, and those have been in foreign lands. And oftentimes they have fallen not for us. They have fallen for the people of the world. And I'm reminded of the people of the world today who possess freedom, because these Americans who wore the cloth of the nation is willing to serve and sacrifice. I'm also, most of all, reminded today how few serve this nation. How few serve. You realize only 0.7% of our citizens have worn the cloth of this nation. So we're hanging on the willingness of such a small minority of our people to go forward and serve and sacrifice. That's a testimonial to who we are. I think we all need to reflect. I think we need to look at ourselves, America, in the mirror and say to ourselves, we have a special destiny, and we're only able to exercise that destiny because of this service and sacrifice. You know, Winston Churchill, during the 1940 Battle of Britain, praised the Royal Air Force. Fighter Command stated that, and I quote, "Never before in history have so many owed so much to so few." That word, that phrase resonates with me today. Never have so many owed so few. So if you see us a veteran today, or you see someone in uniform, just walk up, and then all you need is to say simply, "Thank you, thank you." That's all I ask for. Welcome them and say thank you. You know, we look sometime and we hear a lot of comments about veterans not being appreciated, or we not being appreciated, and we're not appreciating Memorial Day or Veterans Day. I don't think that's the case. I think it's the case that we need to educate our young people, and as adults make them understand who we are, and what makes our country and makes us very special. I think every one of us have our reasons for being here today. For me, it's very personal. As you read the citation of the Medal of Honor, it was just sort of swirling through my mind during those moments during Vietnam in 1968. 18 and 19-year-old young Marines in the prime of their life, supported by Navy corpsmen. And they were looking across that rice paddy at 5 o'clock in the morning. We fixed bayonets, never knowing what we were up against. Not one element of hesitation out of 180 Marines I had with me that morning. When that day was over, only 35 of them would be walking. The rest were killed or wounded. In that battalion, 750 Marines went in that fight, supported by the great folks from the Navy and all the services, really. And after the end of the day, and after going back and reflecting on that battle, 750 Marines up against 10,000 North Vietnamese is what the battle was all about. At the end of the day, 100 Marines and sailors died. At the end of the day, 400 and some were wounded. But they believed in America. And they never asked not to be there. They wanted to be there for you. They wanted to be there because they love America. They wanted to be there because of freedom. And they wanted to be there to try to preserve the freedom of the freedom-loving Vietnamese people. That's the reason we were there. And every one of us, if you ask the question today, would they be there again? They would absolutely be there again. That's America. That's who we are. You know, since our country was formed, we have fought many battles, many wars, insurgencies. We're combating issues today. It's just unbelievable to me. And I looked at this young Navy SEAL walk up here, wearing the wounds of battle. But he also is wearing the heart of America. What have we done? We've basically, during World War II, saved the world. And for the greatest generation, thank you for saving the world. For the Korean, Vietnam, Desert Storm, war on terrorism, you continued that. You continued saving the world. Today we're going down another path, a different kind of enemy. But the threat has never been greater. And we are sort of protected on these wonderful shores. I look out when I was coming in the Pacific Ocean. We always think the shores of the great oceans, as they've done in the past, will protect us. We live in a different place in a different time. And America needs to step up to the plate and recognize freedom is in our hands. And I look at my grandkids. I want them to have the same America and a great America than I did. So this freedom comes at a heavy cost. So commit ourselves today Believe in who we are as a people. Believe in who we are as a country. Do not accept mediocrity from America. We are the beacon of the world. That's the reason everyone wants to come here. I go to the American Embassy in London. You see 3 lines around it. They want to come to America. You go to any other embassy. You don't see 3 lines. They want to be here with us. They want to be like us. So let's focus on being like us. Let's focus on who we are. Isn't it great when you see all these flags? You know, we travel all through the world. And I'll guarantee you, except for a few countries, you wouldn't see all these flags in their country. You wouldn't see all this memory taking place. You wouldn't see all this thinking for those who served and sacrificed taking place. And I think the ultimate reflection or display of our thanks to those who have served and sacrificed. And it's what they want. When you bring them out here to Oakhill and you get prepared to place them in this final resting place, there is no greater testimonial to their service than to have that flag over their coffin and have that flag folded and presented to the next one or their next of kin. And to have that 21 gun salute, and to most of all hear those taps. That taps is symbolic of them coming to peace with who they are and with their service. That's what that taps represents. That's not a final call or a final goodbye. It's for that serviceman or woman coming to peace with what they've done for this nation. They are at peace that they wore the cloth and they give it their best duty. Today, again, I've commented on the first responders and the civil servants who serve us. I want to also acknowledge again you and say you play a special role in who we are. And I thank you for your hard work and dedication. So as we reflect today and look down on those gravestones, I ask you to ask yourself a number of questions. What kind of nation do you want your children to grow up in? What kind of nation do you want America to be? What kind of future do you want them to have? Do we want to remember and teach them about respect, about patriotism, and about what these 14,000 gravestones represent? Today, all of you have a wonderful Memorial Day. I want you to reflect on and just discuss during this beautiful day here in California. Reflect, remind yourself. They did it for you. They did it for you. And I would suggest all parents spend a little bit of time with their young family members. Not a lot, just a few words. And remind them again about who we are and what we represent. You know, an immigrant to America took his young children to Arlington National Cemetery in the 1960s and placed a small flag on one Pacific grave. He said a prayer in Hebrew, and when he finished, his daughter asked him why they were there And why did they pray? The father said, and I quote, "This man was a soldier who rescued me from the concentration camp. And he and these other men are why we are free and why we are alive today." I believe that statement says it all. In conclusion today, for those in harm's way, those in Iraq, those in Afghanistan, those in Somalia, those all over the world, today is not a day free of work for them. Today is not a day free of work for them. They are out there doing their duty. They're doing their duty for you. They're doing their duty for freedom. They're doing their duty for who we are. So honor those who have worn the cloth of the nation today. Honor freedom. Honor America. And honor your God. So to all of you, it's been a real pleasure for Sarah to join me here and being back in this wonderful state. And every day you get up, remind yourself what freedom represents. But most of all, remind yourself what it is to live in this great country called America. God bless you.